Mzo Maloney's key eye for visuals earned him a coveted spot in various film festival runs. Now, this time around is no different. His film, Scarp, premieres in this year's SNIT Film Festival that recently just started. Now, we chat to him about the process of making the film. Plus, of course, we also chat to Chanel, who is one of the organizers at the SNIT Film Festival.
Whoa, wasoloko late ngena. Yiza, khawuleza, yiza.
Of course, giving you nothing but the best world-class filmmaking here on Afternoon Express. Head over to our social media platforms if you've got any questions for these two incredible people that are pushing the film industry in South Africa forward. Welcome to The Loft.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much for having us.
And now, Mzo, congratulations. Congratulations not only on just your incredible run at different film festivals, but of course, going to the coveted SNIT Film Festival. I mean, this is absolutely mind-blowing. How does it feel?
I think it's amazing. I think spaces that sort of encourage local filmmaking in South Africa aren't as coveted as we sort of should. We should hold them quite dearly. And I think SNIT gives a space for, I think, established and also filmmakers that are starting out to really go in and showcase their films. And short film space is very experimental, and I think there's many interesting, routes and stories and narratives that we haven't heard that come through that.
And I love watching going to film festivals because you get exposed to not only creatives, but just incredible content. What makes the SNIT Film Festival so special?
Well, I think that a lot of the times when people think about short films, they think sort of very lo-fi, low budget, low sort of quality production. And we've got a really amazing selection of films, top quality films, and there's something for everyone. You've got some comedy and horror and some really interesting experimental films. So.
Yeah. And that is exactly what we're seeing here with Scarp. I mean, Mzo, you decided to name this film after sheep, of course. Why the name Scarp?
So initially the show was about sort of the Black suburban experience, and I think what I've come to sort of identify in that space as being outside or weird was anytime you were sort of coming home and there was some sort of traditional gathering at home, sheep are obviously like a symbolic reference, and it's this interference that cuts into the suburban space.
Oh, wow.
That usually doesn't bring in these outside cultures. It's usually like in a assimilative space. And
so how do you even conceptualize such a huge kind of mammoth theme?
I think, for me, it's the day-to-day stuff. In writing the film, I had sat 2 Christmases ago with a group of women, my aunts, my mother, my grandmother, and they had all been domestic workers. And I think, you start to understand how that has sort of bled into home life and how that's bled into the way they treat their things. And so these hybrid identities are a lot in my interest. I think a lot of these things that I look at on TV and I see growing up in South Africa are the things that I'm interested in. So as big as the story is, as big as this country is, and as vast as the narratives are. Yeah. So I think I draw from a little bit of all of that.
And these universal themes, I think, can just speak to everyone individually. Of course, right now you have just put pen to paper and you've given this specific storyline. But I mean, you can take the idea, the concept, and kind of channel it into different areas of life. Exactly. Chanel, can we expect to see a lot more of this from the SNIT Film Festival?
Absolutely. I think that as filmmakers, SNIT's a festival run by filmmakers, all volunteers as well. As filmmakers, we are driven to tell stories and to share our experiences and our stories. And we've got an incredible selection, as I said, of films from not just across South Africa, but also around the world. And there's a vast range of really interesting narratives and stories that are coming through.
And I love the point that you made earlier, that sometimes when people think about short films, they think low budget, they think quick to make it. If it's 5 minutes, we should take 5 minutes to make it. But you have not pulled any stops, or rather you've not held back at all with making this film. This looks world-class. The quality, the idea behind it, you've articulated it so beautifully, of course, visually. It's so visually appealing. How difficult was it putting this together?
I think it's tough. I think, you know, making anything on a small scale, you sort of need as many hands. And I think, like what you were saying about Schnit, there's communities. Filmmakers have a tiny community in this country, and I feel like everyone sticks together. So it's a bit of impetus on your own regard and trying to make things as great as possible, but also reaching out to different spaces, you know, gear houses, and reaching out to professionals that we work with on a day-to-day. I think it's all helpful. Everyone sort of puts into the potluck and adds and makes a really great product.
Absolutely, and a great product is definitely what I experienced today.
Thank
I
you.
felt like I was transported into the life of this domestic worker. But it's, as I said before, it's more than just being a domestic worker. There's definitely power shift that we see play out throughout the film. I mean, universally, what do you want your viewers to walk away with after watching your film?
I think, you know, the story essentially is about the fragility and volatility of power dynamics in society and how quickly those change and shift. And so I would love for people to start seeing each other, seeing these experiences. Domestic workers exist, so these people that we sort of other and leave on the outside and forget about. And these are people's mothers and fathers. And I think seeing these experiences and seeing each other would be what I would, you know, most want people to walk away with, like recognizing that lives are full and big. People have dreams outside of where they are. And so, yeah, that's I think, the basic premise and what I'd love for people to take away from this.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely took that away. And more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, there is a twist at the end. I mean, you might question, how much can you basically fit into 5 minutes? Well, Mzo has proven that he can put a whole lot. I loved what you did at the end. I will not spoil. Let's go out to the Schnit Film Festival this weekend. Of course, if you're in Cape Town, and enjoy magic. Thank you for joining us in the loft.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
after the break, the amazing Rafaela performs live in studio.